Have you ever felt like your own thoughts are distancing you from the world around you? That the deeper you dive into understanding the world, the further you get from the people you once felt close to? You're not alone. Throughout history, deep thinkers have often found themselves isolated, not because they lacked anything, but because they saw things others didn't want to. Thinkers like Socrates, Galileo, and Tesla were ridiculed and even silenced. Their brilliance made people uncomfortable, not because they were wrong, but because they made people question what they thought was true. Philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer believed intelligence was a curse. He argued that the more you understand, the more distanced you become from the simple pleasures and comforts that the majority of people rely on to feel happy and secure. But why is that? Why does deep thinking often come with loneliness? The answer is rooted in human psychology. Think about it. When you encounter someone stronger than you, you might feel admiration, or maybe a little envy. When someone's wealthier, you might aspire to their success. But when you meet someone whose mind works on a deeper level than yours, it's different. Something shifts inside you. Psychologists call it the mirror effect. A deep thinker doesn't just challenge your ideas, they reflect the limitations of your own understanding. And no one likes to be confronted with their own inadequacy. It's uncomfortable, and discomfort is something we naturally avoid. But it goes deeper than that. Why is it that intellectual superiority triggers such discomfort, more than any other form of superiority? It's because intelligence threatens our identity. Physical strength or material wealth don't directly challenge how we see ourselves, but intelligence does. It forces us to rethink everything we believe about the world and, most painfully, about ourselves. When we encounter someone who questions what we take for granted, we don't just feel challenged, we feel exposed. The presence of a deep thinker shines a light on the gaps in our understanding, making us question the very foundation of our beliefs. And let's face it, most people aren't ready for that. You've probably noticed it yourself. Ever tried to bring up a profound idea only to have people change the topic or zone out? It's not a coincidence. Our brains have evolved to protect us from uncomfortable truths. When faced with ideas that push us to think deeper, we instinctively shut down. It's a defense mechanism. It's easier to stay in the shallow waters of surface-level conversation than to dive into the depths where things become uncertain and unsettling. This is why the most profound thinkers throughout history were often marginalized. They weren't simply misunderstood. They were a threat to the status quo. They forced people to reconsider the very structure of society and knowledge itself. And this, understandably, made people uncomfortable. But if intelligence is such a threat, is there any scientific proof that people actually fear it? Research in neuroscience shows that when someone feels intellectually inferior, it triggers the brain's amygdala, which is responsible for detecting fear. In other words, deep thinkers don't just challenge ideas, they trigger a primal fear response, as if they were a physical threat. Why is that? It's because, evolutionarily speaking, social acceptance has always been tied to survival. In small tribal groups, being rejected meant isolation and vulnerability. Our brains evolved to prioritize fitting in over standing out. So when an intellectually superior person enters the scene, they disrupt the social harmony, and that threatens our sense of safety. This is why, in group settings, deep thinkers often find themselves at odds with others. When they speak out, they not only challenge ideas, but they inadvertently challenge the social status and self-esteem of those around them. No wonder people get defensive and try to push them away. But here's the kicker. Society values confidence more than intellect. In a world that celebrates certainty and charisma, deep thinkers often get overshadowed by those who speak with boldness, even if their ideas are shallow. Think about how viral content works today. Simple, catchy phrases or emotionally charged headlines spread like wildfire, while complex, thoughtful arguments often get ignored. People are drawn to what feels comfortable, what's easy to digest, rather than what forces them to confront uncomfortable truths. What does this all mean for deep thinkers? The world isn't built to make them feel at home. Society doesn't always appreciate intellect, and the reason is simple. It disrupts the comfortable illusions that most people cling to. This doesn't mean deep thinkers should stop sharing their ideas. It means they need to understand the forces working against them. And if society resists intelligence, what does it actually embrace? Comfort. Arthur Schopenhauer believed that intelligence isn't a gift, but a burden. Most people chase comfort, pleasure, and social harmony, but deep thinkers, they chase truth. And truth often means discomfort, alienation, and, yes, loneliness. Schopenhauer said, "A high degree of intellect tends to make a man unsocial." Why? Because the more you understand, the harder it becomes to ignore the flaws of the world. The more aware you are, the more detached you feel from those who are content with surface-level living. For deep thinkers, happiness is not found in conformity or social acceptance. It's found in the pursuit of understanding, even if that means walking a solitary path. Schopenhauer's point was simple. Intelligence might offer truth, but it doesn't offer comfort. And often the pursuit of truth leaves one feeling disconnected from the world around them. So if you're a deep thinker, remember this: your journey might be solitary, but it's also one of immense value. The world may not always understand you, but the ideas you carry have the power to change the way we see the world. The question is, are you ready to embrace the solitude that comes with it?